Hey everyone, Cahlen here, and I wanted to show you a tool that I told you about recently that I have upgraded. So it's always good to have a source of light, and I've gone through many different flashlights, and and really good ones, and I've basically come to using this thing here. So this is a Nitecore HC65, and it uses an 18650 battery, which is a very common battery, which is rechargeable, which is important. It recharges with USB, so it charges off of my folding USB solar panel. And it also comes in red. See? I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see that. So basically, that's important at night if you're not wanting to disrupt your sleep. So you can basically have light as much as you want with the red light and see plenty, except you're not going to be affecting your melatonin production. So that's really important. And it has multiple brightnesses, and it also has an SOS mode. So I recorded last night some footage of me actually using it at night, so that's going to go after this, but actually it was before this. Hello there. So it's nighttime, and I figured it's a good time for me to record a little video showing off my headlamp that I have here, and you can see it can be in red. I'm just going to show you the basics of it, and then in the morning when there's light I will show you more about the headlamp. Okay, so the red light is a low energy mode, which also makes it so you're not disrupting your melatonin, and you can kind of see, right, it's more of a close-up type thing, right? If I got farther away you can't see too much out there, but now I'm going to turn on the white light. Look. Okay, so I think this is the brightest, and right, that's more than 50 feet out in front of me. It's quite a ways. So this is a pretty powerful flashlight, and it just sits on my head, and it's rechargeable with my USB solar panel. So here's basically the close-up of it. Here's the white light, here's the red light right here. Here's the button that you push to turn it on. There's two different clicks. There's a light click and there's a hard in click. Hard in click turns it on. Hard in click turns it off. Hard in click and hold turns on the red light. Hard in click again and hold turns on this, and then you can toggle between this by light clicking. So I think this one's SOS, or maybe just a light low power beacon of some kind. So anyways, it's a very useful tool. I highly recommend it, and I used to have a flashlight which basically did all of these things, in fact a little bit better than this does, but the fact that it can go on my head is just too big of a benefit. It frees up your other hand to do things with, right? Who knows what you're going to be doing, you know? You don't want to, you don't want to have, it's basically like having one arm removed, you know, if you have to be holding a flashlight. So it's a really big benefit, and it's almost as good as the best flashlight I've ever had, which was a handheld one. So it has two different ends, and both of these have a screw type connection, right? So you unscrew this side, and here's the battery, right? That's an 18650 battery there. And it has a little O-ring so that when you screw it all the way in, it's going to be waterproof, right? Well, that's what they claim anyway. And I imagine it's largely water resistant. That's good, because you are often going to be using this in a rainy situation. The other one comes off, and then it's got the USB port right there. See? So this thing protects the USB port. Anyways, that's the rundown on my latest flashlight and what I recommend having. Of course, there are other good options, and I do actually have little backups, like real low power. In my electric USB powered lighter, it also has a little light on it, and also the phone has a flashlight, so there is redundancy in the system. So anyways, that's this video. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider sharing it. If you'd like to help me out in a more substantial way, you can learn how to do so at cahlen.org/gift. And if you'd like to have a one-on-one conversation with me, whether publicly or privately, you can learn how to do so at cahlen.org/one-on-one. Thanks again for watching.